Hello, this is Justin. Welcome to Verbling. In this class I have for you today, idioms and context. One of my favorites because I think it's a very important skill, and people love using and learning idioms. So it's you can benefit from learning some fun ones. How the class works is I select some of the most common idioms that I've heard, and we go over them first by trying to understand the meaning through context, and then we get some time to practice at the end using them and trying to remember what the meanings are. So yeah, it's a class that I've done before in different categories. Today's category is food, and there are definitely a lot of common popular idioms we use dealing with food. So I welcome anybody to join me that's interested in learning a lot of new vocabulary today. I'm going to share the document I have so you have a nice list to take home and study and try to remember some of the ones you really like. Um, Before we get started, I'm going to share. Let me see here. Share. There we go. One second, I actually got the wrong document up. Here we go. So yes, here's the agenda I have for you guys today. All right. So like I said before, first we're going to go over a list of idioms and guess the meaning. If you don't know the meaning, have no idea, I give you an example to try to understand it through the example, and if you have no idea, we'll go over it. And then after that first round of idioms, then we start practicing using them. And the way I recommend it is by writing a story and trying to use, depending on how many people are with us today, trying to use about 5 of them with your favorite ones that you're not clear and comfortable with, because sometimes they're a little trickier to use and you don't quite understand them completely. So uh, it's good for you to get some experience with them before you leave today. And also, by writing them out, I definitely give you feedback and corrections on any grammar as well. So it's a good class, and to get a lot of new vocabulary and also a lot of new expressions. We go over quite a few of them, but it's important to understand that I don't expect you to remember or memorize many of them. I think what you can do is practice understanding expressions, and then also what you can get out of this is just choose a few and try to remember them. They say most people can only memorize about 7 to 10 different new vocabulary every class or possibly every day, depending on how much you're studying. So don't worry about remembering everything. It's not a problem. All right. I'm going to give you guys a couple examples while we're waiting here. The first example, give me one second here. I'm going to share another document here. Where is it? Ah, shoot. Alright, there it is. Alright, so this is the document we're going to be using to manage the class. And let me get started. It's the first one here. So the first one I'm going to introduce to everyone is bad apple. This is a very, very common one we use. Alright, and I'm going to give you an example. Boy is a bad apple, and he is always in some kind of trouble. Alright, so out of context here, we look at the words around it. So we know possibly it's a way we call a younger boy or girl. And right here is very important. He always gets in some kind of trouble. So is this a good or a bad thing to call? Obviously it's bad because they say bad apple. So this one's a little more self-explanatory. And we can understand just through the context that bad apple is a troublemaker. Sometimes a bad person, but that's pretty strong. I'd say more of a troublemaker. All right. So let's get to the next one here. This is another one we call a person. And it's very common in business, okay? The big cheese. All right, the big cheese. So my example is my uncle is a big cheese in his company. You should be very nice to him. So like I said, it's with business. All right. Big is usually positive. Yeah. It's usually a positive word to describe. And you should be very nice to him. Why? Because he's a very important person, a leader. Okay. These are two examples of titles we call people. Bad apple, big cheese. So those are usually a little simpler to understand and catch on. But then we have a couple other ones like this next one I'm going to show you. Bite off more than one can chew. I really like this one. This is a longer phrase, so sometimes it's a lot of words to kind of digest. And when someone says it in everyday conversation, you might have some difficulty catching on. But let's see how you do with this one. This is in the past. So remember, with any kind of phrasal verbs or so this one's in the past. So bite in the past is bit. All right. So I bit off more than I can chew when I began to work in the evening. So this is another one that's work related. We can tell from the context. All right. Um, and a lot of these you can't understand them literally. You have to just understand them based on the imagery, I guess they give you, right? So I bite off more than I can chew. So that if you bite too much and you have difficulty chewing it, it means you took on too much. Yeah, you're trying to do too much. All right. So that's an easy one if you understand the image. So here's what it means. Try to do or eat more than you can manage. I actually use it more in the context of to do. Obviously, we could use it in the eating, but there's another one that I'll probably introduce you to that is regarding eat. Okay, it's more common at the dinner table. But yeah, to try to do something. So when I began work today, I bit off more than I could chew. I didn't finish hardly anything I wanted to do. It was way too much work. I should have managed my time better. All right. Organize this here. Excellent. All right. So this next one I'm going to show you is a really good one. Like I said, all of these that I introduce you to are ones that I use, and I'm a big expression guy. I use a lot of expressions in my everyday life, so you can feel confident that these are ones that you could possibly use or hear. All right, bread and butter. In some people, some other languages have very similar equivalent expressions. So bread and butter. Most people are worried about bread and butter issues like jobs and taxes. Not a big fan of this example, actually. I'm going to give you another one. Let me think. I'm going to give you one how I would use it. Let me think. A presentation to promote the company is our bread and butter. We must use it. This is probably a way I would use it, bread and butter. So we know it's about something as the bread and butter. We're comparing the presentation. Presentation is just an example. Anything can be your bread and butter. So we have to think about the meaning. We must use this bread and butter. I'll even add to this example so you can understand it better. It's our bread and butter. We must use it. We know it well, and it helped us get so many clients already. All right. Most people are worried about bread and butter issues. I'm going to give you the definition of this one. Bread and butter obviously is something very important. A lot of people compare it with the vital food. So bread and butter can be one's income or job that is used to buy the basic needs. All right. I don't use it in this example as much as this example, and I'm just going to give you the definition of this. All right. So in this example, it is our most useful, and we are tactful strategy, I guess, that we are comfortable with, completely comfortable with. Like maybe if you're on a basketball team and you have any kind of sports team and you have a play that you use a lot, you say it's your bread and butter. Like some American football teams, they run a lot. They run it right in the middle. That's their bread and butter. It works all the time. They're comfortable with it. It doesn't work all the time, but it works enough that they're they're willing to use it. All right. So I guess that's the more common way I've used it. All right. And this is another one that's similar to bread and butter, but it's used in a little different way. Bring home the bacon. Bring home the bacon. What does this mean? Recently, I've been working hard to bring home the bacon. So think of the last definition, bread and butter, one's income, basic needs. Yeah, this is also similar. Bacon's not a necessity, but you're bringing home food, right? You're bringing home the food, which means recently I've been working hard to bring home the bacon, to earn money for the family. Yeah, I feel like this. Ugh, what's going on here? All right. All right, everyone. I can tell that there's no viewers, so I'm gonna actually make sure and check because I saw there's some downloading issues with this new software or something for Verbling. So maybe I'm not connected at the moment. So I'm going to leave this call and then try to come back up and see if this will work. So if anybody's watching right now, which it doesn't look like it, I will be back. Okay, and hopefully we'll get some participants here. All right.